Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. I got a video for you. If you're watching this in the portal, it may not be Monday, but I recorded this on a Monday, and it's a beautiful day. So happy Monday. This video is about dealing with mental strife, and I feel particularly um educated on this subject because I've had a lot of mental strife, and I want to say it doesn't make me unique. I'm not unique in having mental strife in my life. You can quickly have a conversation fall apart into a whose life was harder than who kind of a conversation. You know, it's like that scene from Deadpool where he's like, you know, where it's all these like terrible, tragic stories about, you know, how my family of 14 grew up in a closet, and you know the response is like, "Oh wow, you had a closet? That's amazing." You know, we didn't have food, so we ate out of trash cans, and the response is, "Well, that's great. You got to eat." And so, you know, we all I just want to say that, like, recognize that we all have mental strife in our life. And the question is, what processes do you have in place for dealing with that, and how do we understand that? And so the first thing is, like, you know, when something terrible happens, you know, you could be really angry or sad. And personally, I typically get sad and then angry that I'm sad. I especially get angry because I feel like when I've failed or somebody has wronged me, it hurts my family. And now that I have a wife and a child, it gets me even angrier because my family hurts. And so first I want to say is, why do we get angry? Why do we get angry? Let's try to understand that. And as I see it, we get angry because we feel wronged. You feel like you were above something. This person, how dare this person that you have brought into your circle, some version of circle, right? Your friendship circle, your cowork circle, your boss, your employee, whatever, your circle. You've brought them in and they have wronged you. They did something that you were above. How dare they? And you're like, justice must be served. And that's kind of like why you get angry. And since you don't see that person suffering the way you are now made to suffer, then you want to make them suffer. If you're sad, you want to see them sad. If you lost your job, you want to see them lose their job. If they said something bad about you, you want to say something bad about them. And that manifests itself in Facebook posts or, you know, phone conversations where you just trash talk the other person. And you know, what do? You blame them for everything that went wrong, and you justify, you know, how you feel, and you plot revenge. And there are two, let's call it three stories that I want to go over, and two basic processes that I think are really helpful for dealing with this. The first one is you have to deal with it in the immediate. You have to deal with those immediate feelings. And the quote I have for this first one is, "Success is the best revenge." And so essentially take that feeling and turn it into something positive. The story I was told is, and I've felt this for sure, and I bet you have, and that is, like, when I was in high school, for sure, there were people I didn't like and felt wronged by. And I was like, man, I can't wait to come back 10 years from now and show them what I've become, right? And think about that. Let's say that you did come back to that high school reunion 10 years later, and you were like, look what I've done. See, like, you were wrong. That just means that for 10 years you were doing everything to show them, and meanwhile that person probably forgot you existed. So for 10 years you've been thinking of them, they forgot you existed. That plan doesn't work. They have had power over you for 10 years. So a great quote here, to forgive is to forget, right? And forgiveness is more for you than it is for them. So get rid of that anger. How do you get rid of it in the immediate? Do something immediately that's positive. So for instance, if you're really angry, go run. That anger is helping you get in shape. You know, if you're really angry, work on your resume. That anger is helping you objectively look at your resume, fill your holes, get better, and, you know, tighten it up and get a new job. If you're really angry, read a book. That person is literally helping you educate yourself. So use that anger and channel it into something positive, right? For me, about a year and a half ago, I had some, you know, some gym members may know this. We've got a lot of new ones, but I had something terrible happen to the gym, from with inside. Like, this cancer grew over 5 years and nearly destroyed the gym. And I was extremely angry, but nothing productive came from the anger. by being angry, by wanting to trash talk the other person, by wanting to, get on Facebook and post about them or send emails, which the other side did, by the way. Um, Instead, I looked at it as an opportunity to make myself better. And for our current gym members, many of the people who are seeing the gym as it is now, right? 2 coaches in the busy classes, a full-time customer service person to make sure that you're taken care of, and the nutrition plans, and the online portal, and the free clinics every weekend, and the potluck seminars, and bringing experts in, like the USAW we just had, and the rock tape. Like, a lot of this reinvention was because of what happened. So, success being the best revenge, the gym has grown and become more successful, and I feel better in every single way because of that thing that happened. Okay. The second story is seek to understand. Seek to understand would be the topic. Imagine you had to write a paper in college, and the professor was like, "This is what I want you to do. Pick somebody in your life that you are really angry at, and write a paper." And what you want to do is you want to try to explain the way that they act. Like, imagine they had mental disorders, right? Attribute whatever it is that they've done to mental disorders. You've got to write a paper trying to explain why they might be the way they are. And I think many of us know that, how we are as adults tends to have some sort of reflection as to how we were raised and things that happen to us. Sexual assault when you're young can produce certain results. When your parents are alcoholics, it can produce certain results. When they fight or abusive or divorce, they can produce certain, if you grow up poor, it can produce certain results, right? So imagine you had to write this paper. My guess is if you really put time into writing that paper, you would understand why that person is the way that they are. You would understand their references and their character, and when you understand, to understand is to forgive. Think about a bully that you might have had in your life. Imagine when you were in high school or elementary school. Imagine if you knew that kid that was bullying you was being physically abused by his alcoholic father who divorced his mother, and his mother is in hiding. Like, imagine if you knew that was the case and you understood that. You might not hate that bully the way you potentially did when you were a child. Okay? And I have one more story, and this is a really unique one. The story is of a friend of mine who told me that he dated a girl and he was like really in love with her, and they broke up. And he leaned on his best friend to tell him about, his girl and his feelings and all this stuff, and they broke up. And turns out that pretty much immediately after they broke up, his best friend started dating this girl, the one that he's like telling like how sad he is, right? And they dated for a year, and they kept it really, really quiet. And after a year, they came to him to tell him, "Hey, we've been dating for a year," because they were so in love. And of course, his immediate reaction was like anger, like, "How dare you do this? And this is so shady, and you met in secret, and you knew it was wrong, and you did it anyway." And then he was like, "Imagine if I had to write the story of their love story from his best friend's perspective. Imagine if, like, he was at a cocktail party and someone was like, 'Hey, John, like, you and Mary, you've been together for 2 years, you're in love, you're getting married, like, how did you meet, and what's the story of your love?' And then from his perspective, it would be like, 'Well, my best friend was dating this girl, and they broke up, and, the whole time I watched them dating I saw how wonderful she was and beautiful she was, and I knew it was wrong, and I didn't want to do it, but, when they broke up, things just happen, and, like, imagine if it was the love story from their perspective, and through his lens. And it's like, once you understand that and you see how beautiful that thing can be, you kind of, to understand is to forgive. So what's the point of all this? Have processes in place. Try to turn your anger into something positive. Try to understand why the other person may have done or does or acts the way that they do. And success is the best revenge. Go out there and get success for yourself, not to get back at the other person, but for yourself, because life is short, and once the sun sets on today, you cannot get today back. And anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. So that's it, guys. Happy Monday. I hope you found this valuable. This is certainly something that I find valuable and relevant in my life, and I hope you appreciate it. Until the next one, I will see you guys later. Enjoy your week.